Welcome, deep divers. Today we're heading into some murky waters to explore creatures that are often, well,
As caimans, an ancient group.
exactly. And our mission today, we're going to unpack the surprising facts, the incredible adaptations, and the really complex survival strategies these reptiles have, all based on the amazing sources you shared.
And what gets me every time is their sheer evolutionary staying power. I mean, we're talking over 200 million years. They've been refining their game for eons.
200 million years, that's staggering.
It really is. And it points towards, a hidden intelligence capabilities that go way beyond what most people imagine.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Here's something that really surprised me. Jaguars might see a croc as, a sack of protein. Easy pickings, maybe.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
But your sources say they can actually run, jump, even sprint fast enough to potentially outrun a person.
Right. That immediate burst of speed, it completely flips the script on how we picture these ancient animals. They're incredibly tough.
Tough is an understatement, it sounds like.
Definitely. They can survive attacks from massive predators like 7-meter anacondas. And sometimes, they'll even grab baby sharks near the shore. Their physical resilience is key to their long-term survival.
Wow.
And look at the Trinidadian caimans. It's a great case study in adaptation. On that island, there's less land, fewer prey species. So they tend to be smaller than their mainland cousins.
Ah, okay. So smaller might mean less dangerous.
Not necessarily. That scarcity, that pressure has actually pushed them to develop some really clever survival strategies. They had to get resourceful.
So they didn't just get weaker, they got smarter. How does that work? What are these clever strategies?
Well, in those dense mangrove swamps in Trinidad, they've absolutely become the apex predators.
Right.
They're hunting fish, shrimp, even small sharks. And they'll ambush monkeys if they get too close to the edge.
Monkeys, too. Huh.
Yeah. And about those sharks, shark meat isn't exactly gourmet. Sharks excrete waste through their skin, makes it taste unpleasant.
Oh, right. Okay.
But the caimans figured it out. They swallow the sharks whole, seems to mask the flavor problem.
Swallowing them whole.
Yeah.
Resourceful indeed. Still, you mentioned anacondas. Caimans aren't always the hunters, are they?
No, absolutely not. It's a delicate balance in that ecosystem. They share it with anacondas. Sometimes they compete for food. Other times, the caiman becomes the prey.
Right.
And anacondas are perfectly built for the swamp. They even give birth underwater.
Underwater birth. Wow.
Yeah, and get this. A litter can be over 70 baby snakes, each one nearly a meter long right from the start.
70. That's a lot of snakes.
It is, and there's zero parental care. None. They're on their own immediately. It just shows the intense pressure, the natural selection driving this incredible self-sufficiency from birth.
Okay, so that sets the stage for a pretty dramatic encounter you mentioned. A female anaconda, needing energy after giving birth, goes after a caiman.
Exactly. The anaconda uses its usual method constriction. It feels the heartbeat, the breathing, and just instinctively tightens its grip.
And usually the prey just suffocates.
Yeah.
Loses consciousness pretty quickly.
Within minutes, typically. But this is where it gets interesting. The caiman has a counter strategy.
So it's not completely helpless. What can it do against that kind of power?
It raises a fascinating question, doesn't it? What simple biological trick can just completely turn the tables in a predator-prey fight?
Okay, I'm hooked. What is it?
It's their breathing. Or rather, their lack of breathing. Caimans can hold their breath underwater for up to 2 hours.
2 hours.
Seriously.
Seriously. So the anaconda is squeezing, waiting for the caiman to gasp, struggle, but it doesn't. After just a few minutes, the anaconda is exhausted. Yeah. It's using huge amounts of energy.
And the caiman is just waiting it out underwater.
Pretty much. The anaconda has to give up.
Yeah.
It releases the caiman, which is probably sore, but otherwise mostly okay. The snake, though, is totally drained, too tired to hunt. That is absolutely incredible, just outlasting it. But the adaptations don't stop there, do they?
Not even close.
Let's talk about the Morelet crocodile. It has this unique trick for sleeping.
Ah, yes, unihemispheric sleep. It's fascinating. They sleep with one eye closed, one eye open. One half of the brain rests while the other stays alert.
Sleeping with one eye open, literally.
Exactly. And it saved one from a jaguar. The jaguar tried a sneak attack, but the croc's awake side saw it coming and splashed straight underwater.
So the jaguar didn't get its meal.
Not that time. It shows how even something like sleep patterns can be a crucial survival tool.
But the jaguar didn't just leave, right? It waited. It figured the croc had to come up for air eventually.
It did wait. but it underestimated the crocodile. See, they have these air sacs near their heart. Think of them like internal scuba tanks.
Internal scuba tanks, how does that work?
With each heartbeat, a little bit of stored air gets released into the lungs. It lets them stay submerged way, way longer than you'd expect.
So it just outweighed the jaguar's patience.
Completely. The jaguar eventually gave up and left.
Amazing. Okay, what about the Cuban crocodile? You mentioned they have a different way of moving.
Yeah, they're interesting. It shows how even small behavioral differences create different niches. In shallow water, they don't really swim. They sort of walk along the bottom.
Walking on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. And they're surprisingly nimble on land, too. They'll sometimes go for strolls, a bit like the freshwater crocs in Australia. They use this high walking posture, which is great for hunting along the shore.
And being on an island, Cuba, prey must be limited. What's their main food source?
Their favorite seems to be the hutia. It's Cuba's biggest native land mammal, basically a large tree-dwelling rodent.
Ah, rodents.
Mhm.
Okay. How do they catch them if they live in trees?
Well, hutias eat leaves and fruit up there, but they aren't like monkeys. They can't leap between branches easily. So to get from one tree to another, they have to come down to the ground.
Ah, creating the perfect ambush opportunity.
Exactly. The crocs wait, and with those strong legs, they can lunge upwards pretty effectively. But it still takes a fair bit of luck.
I bet. And given that scarcity, do they share if they catch one?
Nope. Food's too precious. One hutia can feed a croc for about a week, so they keep it to themselves.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How does hutia compare to, say, shark meat, taste-wise?
Well, the sources say rodent meat is more tender than shark, definitely. But apparently neither has a whole lot of flavor on its own.
Okay. Any other snacks on the menu?
There's a seasonal treat, land crabs. During the summer migrations, the crocs will just gulp them down, whole shell, claws, everything. Crunchy, I guess.
A crunchy seasonal delicacy.
Right.
And what about breeding?
Eggs hatch in about 90 days. The mothers are fierce protectors of the nests.
I can imagine.
And the babies, tiny things, maybe 30 centimeters long, they race to the water almost immediately and start hunting within days.
Already hunting.
Oh, yeah. And just like the adults, they do not share their food. It's tough from day one. Sadly, a lot of them don't make it. Fish eagles, storks. They pick off a lot of the young ones.
A tough start to life, for sure. Okay, let's wrap up the crocodilian part with the black caimans. Big ones, right? South America's largest reptiles.
Among the largest, yes. And they're masters of both shallow and deep water. Really adaptable.
What kind of prey can they handle?
They can take down huge fish like the arapaima, that's a giant freshwater fish. One caiman might struggle, but
They work together.
sometimes, yes. If the prey is big enough, several might team up. They use that famous death roll to tear off chunks of flesh. It really shows how even typically solitary...
My back was constantly aching.
The modern human struggle. I hear you.
I tried everything cushions, those weird massage gun things. Nothing really fixed the root problem.
That sounds like quite the adaptation. What makes it so effective?
Well, the expert descriptions match my experience. It has this patented tri-zone lumbar support.
In tri-zone. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a mesh core, and these soft side panels that rotate. It's almost like floating. Maybe not mangrove waters, but and they slip up. So you can get stable elbow support, makes your arms feel almost weightless.
Yeah.
Plus, it reclines way back, like 140 degrees, almost like a zero-gravity bed sometimes when I need a quick break. And it's not made a huge difference.
So what's the takeaway here? It connects back, doesn't it? Just like those crocodilians adapt to their physical world to survive.
We have to adapt our world.
Deliver and assemble it for free, which was a nice bonus.
Makes it easy to adapt, for sure. Wow, what a journey today, huh? The right adaptations to deal with the challenges, the apex predators in our own lives.